Well, it's 2022, the year of all things weird. So, aside from shortages of baby formula, shortages in the supermarket, high prices at the gas pump, blah, 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 supply chain issues, there's also a shortage in free wood chips, which I've never had a problem with. Usually, there's at least a dozen local tree companies looking to give away free wood chips. I get a bunch dropped in my place every year that I use around the property and in the garden. So, had to come up with a creative solution this year. So this is what I ended up going with. This is the John Deere Power Flow bagging system for their riding mowers. I got it for 140 bucks used, and that came with the trailer, all the pieces to make the attachment to your mower deck, and then the chute and the bagging device and everything. I like this system. It's easy on, easy off. You have to pull the original chute flap thing off, and then there's this bracket that bolts on here that holds this S-rod to that, and then there's this cover you have to change and a double pulley you put on. And it took me about 30 minutes to install, and this thing now just pops on, pops off. And it works really good. A lot of mowers have the passive blower system where there's no internal fan that shoots everything up. They just rely on the output from the mower deck to kick everything up into the bag, which anything longer than wait for the truck to go by. There we go. Anything longer than, a half inch over normal on a dry day won't cut it with those blowing systems. So this one's nice. The Power Flow, it kicks everything up nicely. I mean, I've been going through the fields when they're 1 to 2 feet tall, and aside from occasionally having to reach back and unclog, I can do that while I'm moving. It works pretty well, and that's on a X320 with a missing hood. But the the trailer can do a whole bunch of other things too. I'm hauling some fencing up to the back of the property today, and just a nice system to have. It's easy to install. I got it for really cheap used, and it's been very beneficial around the homestead. So one really good use I found for these is in the vegetable garden. It's early in the season, so everything's just getting started, but I put a thick mat down and actually put a layer of cardboard underneath. I just made sure I took all the labels and tape off, and only used the cardboard with the black ink because supposedly that's non-toxic. But aside from a couple weeds around the fringe, it has smothered everything out really well. And I'm going to continue to do this method because it also, as it breaks down, it helps give nutrients into the soil and bring worms and all that good stuff. Another thing to mention, for the stuff that goes in the garden, the stuff that goes to the pigs, I like to leave the clippings a little longer. I think I cut these where they're about a foot tall, just because they kind of intertwine together to have a little more of a smothering effect than short clippings. All right, so I just got done throwing down a full load off the trailer in here, and these guys love the grass clippings. It also brings worms underneath, so it's a good source of protein for them as well. So they'll pick through, eat all the bugs, they'll eat the clippings themselves, and 3 to 4 days, this will all be dirt again. Another thing I use it for, you can see a couple weeks ago I threw down a whole bunch of big clumps to keep the tall grass down along both sides of the bridge here as well. And I don't mind doing that every couple of weeks. It means not having to drag the string trimmer out here and burn gas and all that fun stuff. Well, I guess I burn gas using the mower, but whatever. Anyway, I threw a load in there for these guys too. Load for the pigs. So it's really good for all my animals. My sheep and my goats pretty much free range, so they get whatever they can forage around here. So I still use feed, still use grain, because you still need to supplement vitamins, minerals, all that kind of stuff. But I went from using, I'd say, 1 50-pound bag of feed a week, feeding them every other day. Then I actually tried to cut it 50-50 with corn, and that helped a little bit. But now that I'm using this system, I go through maybe 1 bag of feed a month between all the animals. So it's really saved a lot of money. What's up, buddy? Hey, Brownie. Another thing to mention with the chickens, it can clog their chutes up pretty good eating grass. So I always just throw a couple handfuls of poultry grit in there with them. But that's what I do, and that's how I've saved a good bit of money. So I figured I'd make a video and pass that information on to you guys. So until next time, cheers.